to living. I don't know about you, but my ideal is not to be a functional whole. I think there's some adoption of mechanistic and scientific language there that is really not getting to the deeper yearnings of people to feel free, to appreciate the range of possibilities of living and of feeling. And I have a quote from Zorba the Greek, which is a favorite of mine, where the assistant to Zorba, the English professor, I believe is a teacher, English professor or teacher, says, "I felt deep within me that the highest point a man can attain is not knowledge." This is after being with Zorba for a long time. "It's not knowledge or virtue or goodness, but something even greater, more heroic, and more despairing. Sacred awe." That's his conclusion. I think sometimes that in our haste to, quote, get past our negative identifications, we overlook their potential value. In this work, it's not so much about getting past negative identifications, which certainly do snag us. And this work is certainly about helping us to unhook from snags and stuck places. But it's more about forming new relationships to these negative, so-called negative identifications, coexisting with them, being able to appreciate the multidimensionality of what these so-called negatives offer, the complexity. So I think I'd be remiss not to talk a little bit about some folks and trends in my own field that I think also tend to polarize a little bit in terms of the restrictive view of mystery. Perhaps partly taking their cue from Freud, who, at least at one time in Future of an Illusion, seemed to see the mystical experience as a form of infantile regression to a state of almost quiescent death, or certainly a state of inert quiescence. That seems like quite a reduction to me, although I think the world of so much of what Freud pioneered. But on some of these points, I have some concerns. Irv Yalom is a friend of mine, and I am very much appreciative of Irv's work. And I think he's done a great job in bringing existential ideas out to the wider public. However, I do think he sort of ties into some of this perception that existential psychology is ensconced in the, if not nihilistic, then the more atheistic and, shall we say, gloomy sensibility. I myself align more with what I'd call the existential theological thinkers like Martin Buber, Paul Tillich, William James I'd include there, Ernest Becker, Rollo May I think is very much a part of that, where I think there's more of an openness, again, to the ranges of human experience, transcendental as well. I often think of this anecdote about two existentialists. One that stands before being and the cosmos and throws up his arms in a sense of amazement and wonder and awe. And that might be somebody like Martin Buber or Tillich or Heschel. And then the other existentialist who stands before being and throws up. Now that may be a little more like Jean-Paul Sartre, who wrote Nausea. Now I don't think Irv would throw up before being at all. I think he does have a great appreciation, especially for the human level of our experience. But he does call himself a card-carrying atheist, and I'm not sure quite what that means. And I'm never quite sure how people are so sure, either in terms of being religious or in terms of being atheist. So that's one of my questions there. But he also alludes to the cosmic in terms of indifference. He talks about the cosmic indifference that we meet up with. Well, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure the cosmos is indifferent. And I want to hold open the possibility that, there may be a sort of divine reality to the cosmos. I hesitate to use those terms. I find the sense of awe more resonant because I consider myself an enchanted agnostic. I take agnosticism very seriously. I feel that agnosticism is a region to celebrate and to exalt and to feel exalted within, because it is so much about taking mystery seriously, not just reducing it as, let's say, the unverifiable, which a number of scientific agnostics see it as. No, I feel and sense it and try to bring into my work that there's a sense of sacredness to what the hell's going on here. We're all traveling, we're hurtling through space and time for but a flash of an instant in terms of the history of creation. And we're little specks suspended in this vastness. You can call it what you will, but it seems to me it's a point of just incredible dimensionality. There's something that, if you experience it with your whole bodily being, and that's part of my point, I'm not sure some of these folks are having whole-bodied experiences, and maybe it's a little more intellectualized. I don't see how you can't, at some level, drop to your knees and just be in amazement. And that's not to say that there isn't a tragic side, because to me, that's all part of it. That's all part of it.